Okay, tonight we are going to look at the essential soft skills for project management, which a good project manager should possess. So we've done tools in project management, we've done techniques in project management, we've seen deliverables and documentations in project management, but they are not enough. All those tools, techniques, they are more like, we call them technical skills in project management. But technical skills, they are not enough to help you navigate the complexity of dynamic projects in today's environment. So let's look at some of these key soft skills. This soft skill will be talk about personality of a project manager. So I'll start sharing my um, so um so Mr. George, you kindly do me a favor by putting yourself on mute because this video is recording, and so that by the time you guys will be consuming it, it will be clear without any noise from the background. So if you have any question, when I finish, you will have time to ask any kind of question that is related to the topic. Okay. The first skill out of all the skills here is leadership skill. Leadership. A project manager is a leader. So you must possess these leadership skills. So leadership in project management is the ability to inspire, motivate, and guide team members towards the achievement of project goal. Effective project leaders possess a combination of vision, communication skill, emotional intelligence to mobilize team to drive project to a conclusive result or a good outcome, expected result. Now, what is we are talking about vision. As a project manager, you must understand the vision of that project. Every project must have a vision. They must have objective. They must have goal. You must understand it more than every other team member, so that you should be able to guide team members towards the project vision. A project without a vision is just like you driving. You just enter your vehicle and drive out. Where are you going? You don't know where you are going. How do you know when you arrive to your destination? But when you have a vision, you have a target, you know where you are going. When you get there, you should be able to know. So as a project manager, you must understand the vision of a project, and you must be able to communicate this vision to team members. You see some team members, they will join a project, but they do not understand the project vision. They might understand their their individual role or individual tasks or responsibility, but there is need for everybody to within the project to understand the vision, so that everybody will work towards the vision. Some of the vision of the project is that this project needs to be delivered at so time. If it's a 6 months project, everybody must understand that this project must be delivered within 6 months. So whatever you are doing, you are working towards delivering that project within 6 months, because the company or the organization, there is something they want to achieve at the end of that 6 months. So everybody must understand the vision. So it's their duty to understand the vision and communicate it to the team members, and possess emotional intelligence to be able to understand everybody, all the team members, their challenges. You must understand your weaknesses, your strengths, and you must understand the weaknesses of all the other team members as well, and try to carry everybody along. These are key skills that you need to possess as a project manager. So let's look at the key attributes of a leader. Number one is vision. A clear vision of a project goal and objective, communicated effectively to the team members to inspire and align effort towards common purpose. So everybody understand you are the person that everybody is looking at. They are all looking up to you. They want to hear from you. Within the first meeting you are having with your team, you should be able to communicate the project vision. You should be able to inspire your team towards this goal. You need to understand, apply empathy, emotional intelligence, everything you need to do to inspire them. They should see you as a role model within that project. Some of them will even bring their personal problems to you. You must be able to handle a lot as a project manager. Then communication. You must apply open, transparent communication channel to convey expectation and feedback and foster collaboration among team members. Your channel of communication must be transparent. Your type of communication must be transparent. Everybody must know what is happening in the project. You should know how to communicate with your stakeholders. We've done stakeholder analysis. We've done communication plans. So you know what all this is all about, way of communicating. We've done racing metrics, where the team members need to understand their roles. This is a way of you communicating to them, for them to understand their roles, their responsibilities, and who is accountable is very key. And when you communicate, you must receive a feedback. Communication is a two-way traffic. When you send reports and you are not receiving feedback, you must demand for feedback. That is how you know whether the stakeholders are happy or not, whether they have reservation or not. It's key. And whenever you communicate to stakeholders, they should give you a feedback. Then the third attribute here is motivation. Inspiring and empowering team members by recognizing their contribution, providing opportunities for growth, and fostering a positive work environment. Motivation is very, very important. As a project manager, you must learn how to appreciate the good work of your team members. It's a way of motivating them. You say thank you to team members. You know, when they've done something, yes, don't say after all they get paid. They get paid, but say thank you. At times, some people use bonus. This is a way of motivation. And when your team are highly motivated, they will help you in every way. They can go extra mile for you. Some people will even come to work on Sunday for you because of the way you inspire them, the way you motivate them. So when somebody does something conclude a milestone in whatever they are doing. Try to appreciate them. Or even if the whole team within the project, you achieve a milestone, celebrate the team. You can take them out for team lunch. This is a way of motivation. Build a bond in your project among the team members. Decision making, you must know how to make timely decision. It's very, very important. Timely decision is important. Making timely and well-informed decision, considering input from stakeholders and team members while maintaining accountability for the outcome. So when you are making decision, it must be timely and it must be clear. So every decision must be time bound. Every deliverable must be time bound. These are part of the decision. So every activity you are communicating, they must be time bound. They must be clear. There is no ambiguity. It must be in a language that everybody understands. And be firm in your decision making. You are a leader. You can't just say A and then all of a sudden you say B. Everybody is looking up to you as a leader. So when you should be firm, before you make decision, be careful before pronouncing a decision before the team. So when you take decision, let it be. Not that you are going to be so rigid, but you must be firm. Then conflict resolution. Address conflicts and disagreement constructively, promoting dialogue, understanding different perspectives, and finding mutual beneficial solution. In conflict resolution in a team, it's very, very important that when there is conflict, address conflict as soon as possible. Find a lasting solution. Conduct root cause analysis to find the root cause of every conflict, making sure that when a conflict is being resolved, it's not going to be repeated. Don't do finger pointing or blaming. Find a constructive way of resolving conflict by saying it's your fault, it's not your fault. It's important. You know, that's where you manage the conflict. If there is need to invite other stakeholders in a conflict, then invite them. Apply transparent approach while resolving conflict. Then delegation. You must learn how to delegate duties. Yes, you are a project manager. You are accountable. Accountable is that you make sure that it's done. The task is done. The job is done. But you must not do everything. There are some you have to do, but some you need to assign them. You cannot do everything as a project manager. As a project manager, your duty is to organize, assign responsibilities, monitor, follow it up. So when you don't assign responsibilities, you are not empowering your team members. They don't feel empowered. They feel you don't trust them. But when you empower your team members, empowering team members by delegating tasks and responsible to effectively while providing support and guidance, all you need is empower them and support them. Monitor them. Make sure they complete their job at the stipulated time. Every activity has a time bound. So that is what you need to empower them and make sure they do their job. And then role modeling. You must be a role model. I've said this before. As a project manager, in that project, everybody is looking up to you. It doesn't matter even if you are the youngest person in that team, you are the leader. Everybody is looking up to you. So leading by example, demonstrating professionalism, integrity, and commitment to the project. This should be a key watchword: integrity, professionalism. You must lead by example. You can't be saying A and be doing B. That is not integrity, and that is not professionalism. So these are the key attributes of a good leader when it comes to project management. And this is what you're supposed to possess as a project manager. So let's look at project management or project managers leadership style. We have transformational leadership. Inspire and motivate team members through a compelling vision and high expectation, fostering innovation and continuous improvement. So mostly these days, as an IT project manager, which so many of us are looking at becoming very soon, what we'll be doing is digital transformation of these so many organizations now are into digital transformation. So these are the kind of leadership, transformational leadership. Innovation, you must have to, that's why as a project manager, you must know technological advancement. You must be on top of the technology trend. You must be very innovative. You need to read outside the box to understand technologies when it comes to project management. Then another style of leadership is servant leadership. Servant leadership focuses on serving the need of team members, facilitating their growth and development, and enabling them to reach their full potential. This type of leadership is quite common in agile project management. We've not done project management methodologies. We are going to do that very soon, and we are going to understand agile project management. Then you understand that project management or project managers in agile project management, they are not called project managers. They are called Scrum Masters. And Scrum Master is what another name for Scrum Master is a servant leader. So they are the people called, we apply servant leadership in agile environment, agile project management. You can apply it in every aspect of project management, but this is the area that is quite common and highly recognized. What the Scrum Master does is nurturing team members, coaching them, training them, solving their problem, promoting their unity, pushing them to reach their potential. That is what the project manager in agile environment does when we call it Scrum Master. Then we have democratic leadership, involving team members in decision-making process, seeking input and consensus to build ownership and commitment to project. It's very, very important that you apply this democratic leadership as a project manager. Let people be part of the decision-making. Don't impose a situation on them. If you want them to give you their loyalty, to give you their respect. And that's why we have a lot of meetings in project management, we've discussed about RAID meeting. You must have regular RAID meeting where team members come together to look at various risk issues bothering the project, and everybody will make contribution. At every interval, like periodically, maybe weekly, the team must have meeting like outside the RAID meeting. There's another meeting called lesson learned meeting. These are some of the statutory meetings you should be having. This is when you are working within waterfall environment. That is, a waterfall environment is what called traditional project management. You have all these meetings where team members can make their input in the progress of the project. If you are working in agile environment, we'll have series of meetings like daily stand-up. We have Scrum retrospective. These are various meetings where team members come together to make their input, solve team problems, risk together. You must apply this democratic leadership in every environment, whether you are working within agile environment or you are working within waterfall environment. There is need for this democracy in project management. Then transactional leadership. It focuses on task completion and performance using reward and consequences to motivate team members. These are is kind of a motivation in a way. When a team member performs well, there should be kind of bonus. These are a way of boosting their morale. And when a team member is misbehaving, you don't condone indiscipline among your team members. Address it. Make sure that it's not, because when you start condoning indiscipline, it will become a culture. And this is not what you want in your project. So, what are the practical applications of leadership in project management? Setting clear expectations, communicate project goals, rules, and responsibility clearly to team members to ensure alignment and accountability. This is very, very important. We've done RACI metrics. RACI metrics will teach you how to identify rules and responsibilities, and everybody will know what they are responsible. Everybody will know who is responsible for this. Everybody will know who is accountable for this. And this will reduce finger pointing because everybody knows what is expected from them. Inspiring confidence. Build trust, confidence among team members by demonstrating competence, integrity, and reliability. There should be confidence. There should be trust in your projects. If there is no integrity, if there is no competency, if there is no trust, it's going to be difficult. Apply best practices. When the stakeholders see the kind of practices you're applying, it will give them confidence. They will believe in you. They will give you support you needed. When you are not calling meeting, when you are not submitting your report, when you are not, you don't have a pattern of communication. Today you communicate through email. Tomorrow you communicate through phone call. It will look to them like you don't even know what you are doing. But when you have a pattern, when you have a structured way of managing your project, having regular meetings, carrying everybody along, updating the project status, then the team members and the project, the stakeholders, they will have confidence in you. Empowering team members, delegate authority and decision-making responsibility to team members, empowering them to take ownership of their work and contribute to the project success. When there is not only their tasks, in some key situations in project like risk management, assign team members to manage some risk. We've done RAID log. We've treated RAID log, how to use RAID log to manage risk. We know that within the RAID, when a risk is captured, that risk must be assigned an ownership. As a project manager, don't own every risk. Try to delegate some to team members to manage. Just follow them up, but give them that power. That gives them that sense of belonging, knowing that you trust them. Lead by example. That is being a role model. Model desired behavior and values such as professionalism, teamwork, and adaptability to inspire and motivate team members. As a project manager, you don't preach what you don't do. What you are preaching should be what you are doing. You must be a role model, a servant leader. You must be adaptable. You must apply professionalism and ethics of project management in everything you do within the project. Why managing a project? It's very, very important. So conclusively, leadership is fundamental skill in project management, enabling project managers to inspire, motivate, and guide team members towards achieving project goals. By developing an effective leadership skill, project managers can foster collaboration, drive innovations, and ensure project success. Leadership skill is everything in project management because you are the leader. And when you are lacking that leadership skill, the integrity, the respect will start diminishing. You need to have that respect, not only before the team members, but before the stakeholders. Then communication skills. You must know how to communicate very well. We've done this communication plan, communication documentation. You must understand stakeholders very well before you start all these communications. So there are so many ways to communicate. Communication skills are essential for project managers to convey information, build relationships, and resolve conflicts effectively. Clear, timely, and transparent communication is vital for aligning team members, stakeholders, and the project objective. So when you communicate very well, you align these factors, team members, stakeholders, and the objective together. You must understand the vision, and then where are you understanding the vision from? From the stakeholders. You have to communicate with the stakeholders very well in order to understand the vision. And when you understand the vision, you need to communicate this vision. Vision is objective. You communicate it very well to the team members. They are waiting for you to understand what the stakeholders want. If you don't have good communication, communication is not just speaking English, Queen's English. To speak good English is good, But the main important thing in communication is making sure that the person you are talking to is understanding what you are saying. Because in a project, in so many projects I've been part of, I find out some people are based in Spain, they are Spanish. Some are based in Ireland. Some are Indians. So in a situation like that, you coming to start speaking Queen's English doesn't make any sense to them. Just find a way to make sure that they understand what you are saying. Because some of them do not even speak good English. They don't even understand English. English is not their first language. Communication must be clear. Everybody must understand. There should no be atom of ambiguity in communication. It must be timely. Communication should be time bound. If we are delivering a duty or a task, you must have the beginning and the end of that particular deliverable or task or activity. It must be transparent. The communication is not hidden. If you have, let me show this, this our platform here. This is Basecamp. If you need to communicate in this particular project, you see this create a business case is assigned to different team members. And then I'm the person reviewing this. When I want to review any of these deliverables, I should not call the person privately to tell the person you are not doing. This is, we have team members, everybody's working on this deliverable. If I want to make a review, I should, for instance, if I'm planning to review Ndubisi's business case, I shouldn't go to Ndubisi's inbox to review this personally to Ndubisi. This is a project, all of us working as a team. I assign this to Ndubisi openly. And if I want to make a review, all I need to do is I'll come here and make a comment. If I want Ndubisi to know that I'm commenting on his deliverable, I will highlight Ndubisi by saying at. I will look for Ndubisi here. And you see Ndubisi here. I'll highlight Ndubisi. I'll mention Ndubisi's name and say, good job. That is open communication and transparent. I'm not doing any hidden. So everybody is saying that I've approved Ndubisi's deliverable. That is what we call open communication. Nobody is saying, I don't even know how or where we are, or the C is communicate. This is communication. I've done my review and it's clear. You see here, you see visual here. You say, hi, Charles. Hope we are doing well. Please find the attack. So visual did not come to my inbox or send me an email about this. You see, he communicated openly. You see, everybody is communicating. Everybody is seeing what is going on in this project. And everybody is happy. Because you cannot say that you don't know what is going on. Everybody knows what's going on. That is communication. Transparent communication. So that's how I just demonstrated how transparent that communication is. And we have agreed that this is our pattern of communication. So any of us who is now coming to me personally to start sending deliverable. We are breaching the agreement, and it shouldn't be. If I'm now the stakeholder now, all these team members working under me, I've said, if you want to send your deliverable, send it via Basecamp openly so that I will review it. So if you send in deliverable to me, to my email, and I didn't respond to that, and you say, Charles, did not respond to my email? No, you are breaching the agreement in this project. And at times, that is how some of us will be breaching the protocol in projects or agreed way of managing a particular project. And you find out their stakeholders are not happy. You say that you have difficult stakeholders. So what are the aspects, key aspects of communication? Clarity. Communicate information clearly and concisely, avoiding ambiguity and confusion. It must be clear. Like this review I made on NDBC's delivery is very clear. Active listening. Like some of you that are going to be business analysts, and you are going to do a lot of requirement gathering. This is key for you. Active listening. As a stakeholder, as a project manager, and equally a business analyst, you must learn to listen. As a project manager, you must listen attentively to others' perspective, concern, and listen to feedback. That's why I say that feedback, communication requires feedback. When you submit reports, you are expecting communication, you are expecting a feedback. You see, NDBC submitted a report to me. NDBC submitted a business case. I shouldn't ignore that business case. That business case was submitted for me to review. And I've reviewed their business case. I've communicated back. That is feedback. I must say something about that particular deliverable. That is feedback. And I have to demonstrate empathy and understanding. Even if NDBC did not get the deliverable the way I wanted it, I should have a way of communicating to NDBC and highlighting the areas that needed improvement and encourage him to do it again and submit it for review within the appropriate time. But when NDBC submit a report and didn't capture the requirement or the deliverable is not to the standard, I shouldn't go there and say, what is this? That particular statement lacks empathy. You know that NDBC put enough energy working on that, trying to, please me by trying to get a good business case across to me. But at the end of the day, maybe he didn't get to my expectation or to the accepted criteria. There is a better way of communicating back and encouraging him to do a better job than just saying, what is this? And you say you are communicating this publicly where other team members are seeing the way you reacted to. This can demoralize NDBC, So that is what we mean by, showing empathy. You have to listen. For instance, you as a business analyst, you try to capture requirements, you need to listen to stakeholders. You don't have to interrupt people when they are talking. It's another way of disrespect. Even if they are talking off point, give them that respect to finish what they are saying. Even if they are not, you should find a way to address the issue that is not what you're asking for, you can rephrase your question. So these are ways of communicating. It's very, very important because while communicating, some people will start feeling you are like always. Some people will say that I have a harsh voice or a hard voice. I always tell my team that my voice is hard, but that doesn't mean even if I'm hard, I'm not. It doesn't mean I'm hard to you or whatever. So these are ways of showing empathy while communicating and listening very well. We covered almost covered feedback within the active listening. So feedback here provides constructive feedback to team members, acknowledging their contribution and area for improvement, which are used in the BC's case. I've given a feedback. He did a good job. I gave a feedback through open communication. And if there is need for improvement, I will communicate using a very empathic, light tone, encouraging him to do better. And he will be happy to do that because of the way I encourage him. I can even, recommend some textbook where to read up or area to watch if there is a video to watch. These are things I can encourage him to do a better, or even coach him. If I have a better knowledge, I can call him and put a session. Both of us can have a session, maybe 1 hour session, where I coach him to do how to do it one-on-one, encourage him. After then, we can just go have a cup of coffee. That is way of communicating. Then conflict resolution. Address conflicts and disagreement openly and respectfully, facilitating dialogue and finding mutual acceptable solution. When there is conflict, it must be addressed openly and it must be on time as well. And respect. We should not be using finger pointing or blame. We must always be looking for dialogue. It's important. In team of cross-functional, multicultural, diversified people, there must be conflict. You can't run away from that. But how do you address the conflict? That is what matters. So you must find mutual and acceptable solution. You must look for dialogue. You must be open. You must be respectful while addressing conflict. You must apply root cause analysis to make sure that you find the root cause of the conflict, making sure that once it's resolved, it's not coming back. If you need to involve other stakeholders, you can involve them. Adaptability. You must be highly adaptable. You must be flexible in some way of communication. Tailor communication approach to different audience. So you don't need to be rigid in your communication approach. The way you communicate to stakeholder B should not be the way you communicate to stakeholder A. If you followed or if you remember the stakeholder analysis, we have different stakeholders. We have high influence stakeholders. We have high power stakeholders. We have low interest stakeholders. We have low power stakeholders. The way you are communicating with high influential or powerful stakeholders shouldn't be the way you communicate with low interest or low power stakeholders. Some stakeholders, you just need to communicate them, send them report by email. Some people, they don't like you calling them on phone. Some team members, you can just call them on phone. It's still a way of communicating. But some, you must find a way to communicate them. And communicating with them should be, some people you communicate with them on a monthly basis. So you must be adaptable to everybody's need in terms of communication. So that's what I mean by adaptability in communication. Some of the people here, for instance, if you have some people in your team, you can have somebody, some people that doesn't talk, maybe dumb people. You must find a way to, that means adaptable. Everybody have their unique way of communicating them. Some people looking at their cultural, looking at their language barrier. So there is need for adaptability, flexibility to suit every team member and carry everybody along. Then documentation, maintain accurate and up-to-date project documentation, including project plan, status report, minute of the meeting, and communication log. We've treated all these things when we are starting this course within the area of documentation and deliverables. You must know how to use some of these softwares like Project Labor. We've discussed about them, Microsoft Project, to create a project plan. You must know how to monitor that project plan. Every project deliverable must have a status report. So once a deliverable is finished, that should be closed. Every deliverable should have a time bound. I will use this as an example. I'll take you to Basecamp again. So looking at our deliverables here in Basecamp, all these here, you see, is time bound. You're looking at the due dates here. This particular activity here, I opened it because of some people are working on this at this moment. So now this is the due date. This is when they are supposed to submit this particular deliverable on May 13th. That is the due date. So it's time bound. That is the status. It's still open. Okay, if we go back now, you see some of these deliverables now. They are closed. You see, they are checked, all of them checkbox. It means all these are all the deliverables that are checked, they are closed already. So this is status. Looking at this, you know the open deliverables and closed deliverables. When a deliverable is completed, there's no need of leaving it the open deliverable. You should check it so that people will know where we are. It's very, very important. So these are ways you manage your project and everything will be flow. Everybody will be carried out. Everybody knows what's going on. The stage, the status. When you have a meeting, you must have a meeting. All your meeting must have minutes of the meeting. It's very important. Have reports, minutes of the meeting must, like, you cannot have a meeting without documenting the outcome of the meeting. When you have a meeting, the minutes of the meeting will decide when another meeting. So that is why all these should be properly done using the normal approach or the documentation approach. Before you start managing, you must have decide how you do your documentation. In this, our own in Basecamp, all our documentation here, if you're looking at it, you see all our documentation. Everything here is in docs and file. Every delivery, everything we'll do, we put it here, and you see we'll have different folders for different things. So that is part of the things you need to do very well. Then technology. As a project manager, you must know how to utilize technology. You cannot shy away from technology in today's project management. Utilize technological tools and communication tools and technologies effectively, such as email, instant messaging, video conferencing, project management software to facilitate collaboration and information sharing. In these our projects, we are using different technology here. This is Basecamp. We are using Basecamp for our collaboration. You as a project manager, you must know how to use other project management plan like Project Labor and the rest of them. And equally, when we get to Scrum, Agile project, we start using other technology like Jira. So there are so many technology, you cannot run away from them. You can't say, I don't know how to use that, or I prefer to use. No, you must be on top of the game. You have to learn how to use all these technologies. When we treated tools in project management, I exposed you people to different tools. You must know how to use these. Those tools I exposed you guys to these are the minimum tools. Like me here, almost all the communication and collaborative softwares, I know how to use all of them. This is Basecamp. We're using Basecamp. There's another project I'm using this. This is ClickUp. I'm using ClickUp. It's signed out now. Then I use Jira as well. So many of them I'm using. So you must know, because why do you have to know how to use all these different technologies? You are a project manager and you don't know where you are going to find yourself. You must know, you might know how to use this particular Jira Basecamp very well, and you go to another company, you find out they are not using Basecamp, they are using Asana. You go to another company, find out they are not using Asana, they are using Microsoft Teams. So it's good to be on top of the technology. You must follow the trend. Even if you are not using a tool, when a tool comes out, try to know how it's being used. If it's better than the one we are using, drop the one we are using and use a better tool to help you drive success. Because everything is technology. These days, everything is artificial intelligence. As a project manager, you must know how to use all these AIs to help you speed up your processes. AI helps a lot in driving the project speed. All your workload is good to, apply all this. They are there for you. Then practical application of communication skills. Number one, stakeholder engagement. Communicate project objective, progress, and outcome to stakeholders regularly, soliciting feedback and addressing concern. So you must have a regular stakeholder engagement. When we are starting, we did stakeholder analysis. And I told you people, do not start rejoicing after the stakeholder analysis. It's just a beginning of your engagement with your stakeholders. Don't say, I've done my stakeholder analysis, it's all over. When you do stakeholder analysis, you are just analyzing to understand stakeholders very well on how to engage them regularly. You must engage stakeholders throughout the project. It's important. And as you're engaging them, you'll be seeking their support. It's good they continue to support you till the end of the project. Their support is key. So you must engage them regularly. Report your project progress. Seek for their feedback. Seek for their support. It's very, very important. Then team collaboration. Foster open communication channel among team members, encouraging information sharing and collaboration. You can see the way I'm using Basecamp in communication and encourage all the team members to communicate via the Basecamp. Now, encouraging the team members that within this project, everything we are discussing about business case should be on this. This is project charter. If you are trying to discuss this project charter, everything about this project charter must be discussed under here so that we'll have a trend. We'll have all the activities. We can track all the activities about this project charter. So if we're talking about this business case, you see the communication about business case. Everybody, you have to be following the trend so that we can see what everybody is talking about this particular business case. But if you have a business case and you are sending me email about this business case, people within this working on this business case, some of them will be lost with some information. You are not sharing information where everybody will have access to the information. The purpose of this is that everybody will have access to the required information. Everybody will be in the same page. And if this is not happening, it's going to affect the project success. And for everybody in this team to be on the know on everything, we have a chart here. So if there is issues arising, we can collaborate. This is where we can chat manually, casually, discuss issues we didn't capture in our to-do. So we can talk about situation here and everybody will contribute. So that is the way it should be. If we're having this, we should not be, although at times, or if we agree, like you see in this our project, we communicate, we use WhatsApp to communicate because it's agreed. Before I start using WhatsApp, I'll tell the team, this is a way we are going to be doing it for now. And everybody will agree, okay, we are using WhatsApp for communication. To have a WhatsApp group, we share information. Then if we are done, if we are not using WhatsApp, then we say we are going to be using this chat. Everybody will know. So we must have a way of sharing information so that everybody will have the right information. Some people will say, we don't want a situation where people will say, I don't know what is happening. You are a member of a project, but you don't know what is going on in your project. It's not fair. So, and it's your duty as a project manager to drive this communication process. So, conflict resolution, address conflict and disagreement promptly. Promptly means on time. You can't delay conflict. Conflict is is a big risk in project, is a high risk in project management. When team members are having conflict, you must address that conflict promptly and constructively. Giving you an example, when the two team members are having conflict, if you do not address it, you might find out before you know it, someone is saying, I leave or I resign. I don't want to work again. Do you think it's easy to recruit somebody in a project? It's not easy. So when you have somebody that have got the right skills, don't lose them because they are having conflict. Try to resolve that conflict. If one of them eventually resign the job, for instance, a developer who is very, very skilled in programming, and issue is not they're having conflict, and maybe he's having a conflict with business analysts, and you do not address it, you can say, I resign. There is a lot of developer job there in the market. You can just go out and get another job. But your project has suffered a big blow. It might take you 2 to 3 months to get an experienced developer. And you can see the impact of that on your timeline and resources. So it's very good to address conflicts promptly, constructively, facilitating dialogue and negotiation to reach mutual acceptable solution. And change management. Change is bound to, is part of project. Whether you are working on waterfall environment or in agile environment, there is a way to manage change. Communicate change to project's scope, schedule, or requirement clearly and transparently, managing expectation and mitigating the resistance. It depends on the kind of change. If you are bringing, it's a change in all ongoing projects that is going on, and the stakeholder want to add a change to the scope, there is a way we capture that change in scope. We've discussed that. Make sure you capture it using the appropriate model. You have a change request form. They fill the change request form. You set a committee to evaluate the change they are bringing, do the evaluation. After the evaluation, looking at the risk analysis or the impact of the change. If the stakeholders are buying in the change, they will make budget for the additional input. And once that is done, then you add that to the scope. But if you are capturing a change from the initial change, which is the main project itself, then there should be resistance. You must know how to manage resistance to change. So many people in the organization, they don't want change. Now, you want to migrate from Dynamics 365 to SAP, application. So from one application to another application, they don't know anything about SAP. They've been working on Dynamics 365. Some of them have been there for 10 years. All of a sudden, you want to change that particular software or application. They are not going to fold their arms and be looking at you. They are going to resist. So you must know how to manage different kind of change in projects. So you have to mitigate it. We've done all this. So conclusively, effective communication skills are essential for project managers to convey information, build relationship, and resolve conflicts successfully. By honing communication skill, project managers can foster collaboration, alignment, and trust among team members and stakeholders, contributing to project success. Then we talk about negotiation skills. Because of time, when we finish this topic, we'll round it. We'll stop at this stop because of time, and we'll continue next time. So, what is negotiation in project management? Negotiation skills are essential for project managers to reach agreement, resolve conflict, and manage stakeholders' expectation effectively. Negotiation involves finding mutual and acceptance solutions that satisfy the need and interest of all parties. It's very, very important. You must know how to negotiate. At times, I call it politics in project management. Whichever word you want to use, negotiation is important because it involves different parties. So your role in project is to drive success. You must find a way, a balance, navigating different complexities, rigorous ways. Every stakeholders come with their own mentality. You must find a way to navigate everybody's mentality, everybody's interest, balancing everybody's interest and still be firing, navigate, shooting to make sure you meet your deadline. So that is negotiation. You must find mutual balance and always getting a win-win situation for every party in every occasion. There must be a win-win. A win-win means that when you take decision, everybody must be happy. All the interested parties, all the affected parties must be happy. It's not easy to reach a situation where there is win-win, but you must make sure there is win-win. So, what are the key aspects of a negotiation skill? The first is preparation. First, prepare thoroughly for negotiation by understanding your objectives, priorities, and alternatives, as well as those of the parties. You can't just dabble into a situation, a conflict, and start. You must try to understand the situation. You must prepare yourself. You must weigh alternatives before inviting parties. You must be prepared for what you must have analyzed the situation before you start. Negotiation is not easy. Like I said, finding a win-win balance is not easy. So for you to do that, you must have carried out a thorough analysis of the situation. That's what called preparation. You must be an active listener. Listen attentively to the concern, interest, and perspective of all the parties, demonstrating empathy and understanding. You must demonstrate empathy. Even if you are not an empathic person, just demonstrate it. Is understand that people feel like, yeah, put yourself in their shoe, use that empathic gesture, body language, show them you understand their situation, even if you are not going to sign them or buy their idea. It's good to show that you understand their situation. Just like I said when I was reviewing Ndubisi's deliverable. If Ndubisi didn't do a good job, and I want to tell Ndubisi to redo the job, I'll still apply empathy, trying to show that I understand. You did your best. But you must have to do something, extra so that we can get to where we are going. You must try to show this understanding. That's the way of, showing everybody that their commitment is not taken for granted. Then assertiveness. advocate for your interests and objective assertively, while also being open to compromise and collaboration. This means you don't need to, in as much as you need to carry everybody along, you still need to show that you are a leader, you know what you are doing. In as much as you are open to collaboration, you are open to understanding, open to compromise, you must show them that this is the right thing to be done. They shouldn't be a pushover. Nobody should push you around. So, but if from the beginning it's all about what do you want, you keep on asking stakeholders, even if you know that this is the right thing to be done, they shouldn't be, you are the leader of the project. You must demonstrate that leadership, feature or characteristics. You must showcase yourself as a leader. You must be influential. So when a situation arises, be assertive. But even if you are open to compromise, they will respect you, because knowing that yes, you are a good leader, you listen to others, you collaborate, and open to compromise, and their respect will be there for you. As a project manager, you must protect the project at all costs, and that is being assertive. Not everything that you compromise, you don't compromise in some things. In standard, the standard of the project, you do not compromise standard. It's very, very important. There are some areas you compromise, but standard, when there is an accepted standard, we call it acceptance criteria, it has been set, there is no compromise. Because if the project didn't come up to the quality, then you, the project manager, is responsible, you are accountable. If the standard is poor, then you are accountable. If the project fails, you fail, because you are the leader. So there are some things you don't need to compromise. Try to know areas to compromise and areas not to compromise. Then problem solving. Collaborate with other parties to identify creative, mutually beneficial solutions to shared challenges and conflicts. So in conflicts, there should be a balance. Even if some people are not, you must find a way to, find a balance. It must be mutual. There should be understanding. That is the way to solve, complex problems. All parties must identify, and everybody must, try to contribute when you are solving a problem. If you capture a risk, I've told you people about risk and issues using RAID log. When you capture a risk or issue, you must assign it to the owner. You must have a mitigation plan already. So you must not be the person managing the risk. When you assign the risk, I've said it, there has to be a regular RAID meeting where people come to collaborate. So problem solving is not something you should be solving alone as a project manager. Okay, let's look at this example here. If you look at this project, I'll open this, and there's something I want you to observe. If you are very observant, there is one deliverable that is reoccurring here. If you are looking, If you are looking at this as I'm scrolling, you see, I'll open up this. Can you see one deliverable that is recurrent here? Am I communicating?
Yes, sir. We are communicating.
So what's the deliverable that is recurrent here?
And raid meeting
Yes. What is RAID? What
and
is it?
risk management.
Good. Risk management or problem management. So
Yeah.
when you are managing a project, you can see here is captured here. A meeting meaning that is you are not the only person, no. You are managing it as a team. So when there is a situation in your project, don't go and lock yourself up in your office and be cracking your, how do I solve this? Call a meeting. You don't even need to call a meeting. You should have a regular meeting. You capture it before it happens. Whether you are using waterfall approach, whether you are using, this is waterfall approach, you use RAID log, RAID meeting in waterfall approach. Then, when you are using agile approach, you use daily stand-up. Daily stand-up is a meeting in Scrum where the team is sprint, where the team members every day, the project manager in agile, we call the project manager the Scrum master. So the Scrum master will ask a question every morning. Every morning, if you well, it depends on what the team chooses, but that should be the first thing to do before the activity start for the day, and it's only for 15 minutes. The project manager, which is the Scrum master, will ask every team member, "What did you do yesterday? What are you doing today? What are your challenges?" Every day. That is a way of capturing risk. When the Scrum Master is asking, what are your challenges? That is risk management. So you see that they always identify risk on daily basis. So before a risk turns to become an issue, it has already been captured and mitigated by the Scrum Master. And that's why everybody is loving Agile. But in RAID, in waterfall, we use RAID. You find out that RAID meeting is once every week. You know, once every week we do a RAID meeting to look at capture risk. But in agile environment, we do it every day using daily stand-up. So that is collaborate. We say here collaborate with other parties to identify creative and mutual beneficial solution for. So when you have a situation, that is how you don't do it alone, collaborate. Then flexibility, be flexible and adaptable to your approach to negotiation, considering different options and alternatives. Negotiation is looking at different alternatives. When you are negotiating, if you are open to negotiation, then you are open to assessing other options. That is what negotiation. If you don't want to assess other options, there is no need for negotiation. Negotiation is that, okay, you can do this, I can give this and take this, I can take this and give this. You try to balance a situation, and that is mean looking for different ways, options. So it's important you be flexible, don't be so rigid. Then communication, communicate your proposals, concern and interest clearly and persuasively. It must be clear, very clear, but you have to be persuasive. You use active listening and empathy to build rapport and trust. You know, this active listening and empathy is very, very key. Because why this is always hammering on empathy. They see project managers as people that are very rude. I have to be honest with you. Project managers they see them as they are pompous, they are bossy, they are rude people, they talk to people anyhow. But it's not true. It's the way the people are seeing them. And that's why in teaching project management, they try to draw your attention, things you try to do to make people feel at home with you, to stop seeing you as being bossy, to stop seeing you as being so when you use empathy, you kind of build rapport and trust. If you don't do that, it's going to be difficult. And that is how agile project management started taking over from waterfall approach, because they see a conventional project manager as an arrogant person. And it's not because they're arrogant. What project manager does is that all the time they'll be asking you, what are you doing? They will always be nosing, monitoring, because they are checking the timeline. They don't want to miss deadlines. And if they don't monitor you, people feel that they are micromanaging them. They are not micromanaging you. They are just trying to beat the timeline. You, being a developer, you might not be watching the timeline, but the project manager is watching the timeline, because that is the expectation. If he misses any timeline or any delay, it can cause a chain reaction, which can derail the project. So it's very, very important that you try as much as you can to be, flexible. And that is why in agile environments, they use a Scrum Master, and they call Scrum Master servant leader. They don't call that is taking away that bossy nature of a conventional or traditional project manager from a project manager. And then in agile environment, you are no longer a project manager, you are now a Scrum Master. They consider you as a servant leader, not as a bossy or arrogant project manager, where you work with the project team, understand their need, empathy. Scrum Master is there to, solve problems, carry everybody along, teach everybody, empathize with everybody. So that is it. That's all about being flexible. And while trying to negotiate. And again, on communication, the empathy is key. So when you apply this empathy, you must gain support and gain trust. And then closure. Ensure the negotiation results in clear agreement and commitment from all. So after negotiation, don't just go without understanding the result. A negotiation must come with a conclusive result. Everybody must understand, it must be clear what is the outcome of the negotiation. It's just like after having a meeting and you didn't reach a consensus. So after every negotiation is a meeting. Every party involved in that meeting must have a clear understanding of the outcome of that meeting and what is expected of them. It's very, very important. So these are various key aspects of negotiation you need to understand as a project manager while negotiating with stakeholders, with team members, with vendors, third party. There are so many people to negotiate when you are managing a project, both internal stakeholders and the external stakeholders. External stakeholders like local authorities, different stakeholders. So it's good because we are the person representing that project at various places, talking with different parties, not just company stakeholders, but external stakeholders, even the team members. So there's a lot of negotiation going on. These negotiations are meeting, a lot of meetings going on. So what are the practical application of negotiation skill? Contract negotiation. Negotiate terms, conditions, and deliverables with vendors, suppliers, or subcontractors to ensure alignment with project requirement and objectives. Like I said, when you go out for negotiation, it's not only with your team members, it's not only with your stakeholders. You negotiate with vendors. Who are the vendors? The suppliers of resources you need. If you are building a software application, most of the applications we build today, we don't start from the scratch. We go for white label or a SaaS application. SaaS application means software as a service. They are hosted on the cloud, so you pay as you go. So even if you want to, if you need it or any of this application, Dynamics 365 is a SaaS application, software as you go. You buy the one you want to use, how many modules you want to use, you buy how many modules. So you have to negotiate with those people. Some of the applications, the subscription will be there. But some of these applications, they will not put subscription there. You meet with the sales team, you start negotiating in order to get a quote. Most enterprise application, there is no subscription. It's all about negotiation. Your negotiating skills matters here. So that is a contract negotiation. Then scope management. You still need to, when you are trying to understand the scope of a project, then you are negotiating with stakeholders to understand the scope. Negotiate change to project scope, schedule, or budget with stakeholders, balancing competing priorities and constraints. From the beginning, you need to have a meeting with the stakeholders to understand the scope. When you understand the scope, as the project progresses, you see some other stakeholders or even the main stakeholders. These stakeholders, they're always changing their mind. At times, some of them, they don't know what they want. They'll keep on bringing more requirements over time when the project have already started. I want this to be added. For instance, in a situation, you are hired to build a news website. So many news websites these days carries shopping cart or shopping a little e-commerce on it. So some of them will just come, okay, you are building a news website. When the project have started, they say, yes, I want an e-commerce attached. I want a small marketplace attached to this news application or news websites. And the cost of that e-commerce is not captured. So this is an open for negotiation. You need to tell them that looking at the original requirements as contained in the project charter, we do not have this. So that is a negotiation. You start negotiating a change in scope. How can this additional requirement be added? You cannot say no. So this is how you need to negotiate. You need to be able to find a way to capture that. You need to look for adequate budgeting for that extra requirement they are bringing in. As a good project manager, you must be able to, negotiate and make budgets, capture budgets for extra items they want to add for you. If you cannot do that, they will add it and you start struggling. At the end of the day, you will not see the money or the resources to execute the extra requirements added. So there is need for you to know how to manage your scope through negotiation. You must negotiate very well. Then conflict resolution. Conflict resolution is when there is a crisis. It can be among team members, it can be among stakeholders. So there should be a negotiation to resolve that conflict, to make sure that every parties involved are happy at the end of that conflict resolution. It requires a good negotiative skills to get two parties on a win-win. Everybody will be going home smiling, shaking hands. It's not easy. So you must find a way to balance with the external stakeholders, facilitate the dialogue, and compromise to reach a mutual acceptable solution. It sounds so easy, but it's not easy. But these are things you have to find a way to achieve. The resource allocation. You must know how to negotiate resource allocation, such as budget, personnel, equipment, to support project activities very well. When you are negotiating for personnel, you must know how to demand for the amount of people you need in your project. You are the project manager. You must tell the personnel department or HR, this is the amount of people I need. They will say, no, it's too much. How can you use two business analysts? One business analyst is enough. And what are you talking about? But you must know how to negotiate, knowing the amount of work. If you bring one business analyst, it might be too much for one business analyst to capture the requirement, analyze all the requirements. It might delay your project. So you must know the amount of resources you want and go for it. You must know the amount of budget your project requires and go for it. You must know how to negotiate. So if your resources, you are failing in your resources management, maybe you must know how to start requesting for extra resources. If it's budget, if you are running short of your time, you must know how to negotiate for more time. You must have a reason. You must know how to capture reason why there is delay in your project and why you should need an extra time. If you don't know how to negotiate for more time, then there will be a problem for you. If you need budget, more resources, financial resources, and you don't know how to ask for it, problem for you. If you need extra hands and you don't know how to ask for it, problem for you as a project manager. So you must know how to negotiate for all these resources. It's very, very important. So, conclusively, negotiation skills are essential for project managers to reach agreement, resolve conflict, and manage stakeholders' expectations effectively. By developing effective negotiation skills, project managers can navigate complex situations, build consensus, and achieve project success. So, with this in mind, we can see we're beginning to get our mindsets to the kind of project manager we are supposed to be. You see that project management is not about technical skills. These soft skills is a lot, because that is you, that is your personality as a project manager. And the project manager is a highly respected position everywhere around the world, no matter the industry. Anywhere you find yourself as a project manager is highly respected. And the way you carry yourself depends on these soft skills. So we're going to stop here. In our next class, we're going to look at problem-solving skills. So many of these skills are a bit interwoven, but we're taking them one by one to dissect all of them and understand them very well. Because this is you as a project manager. This is what you are. You know, all these skills here, soft skills, they can change. Tools can change. Technology can change. But these soft skills, they hardly change. So you need to understand them, assimilate them, digest them. They become part of you. So this will help you to, navigate different technologies, but the soft skills remaining, you can dump some, over time you can dump some technologies. Like now I can decide not to use this Basecamp and move to ClickUp. I can even say I will use ClickUp again and move to Trello and start using Trello, and my project will still be coming out fine. But when I don't know how to negotiate, it becomes a problem. Or when I don't know how to solve a problem in a project, it becomes a problem. So thank you for joining tonight. Next time we'll continue from where we are stopping tonight. We are stopping at problem-solving skills. And that is it. So if you have any question, I'm open now to take your questions.
Hi, I have a question.
Okay.
So when you spoke about communication, you mentioned that we need to be flexible, but then in another one you mentioned we need to choose one method of communication. So do we need to be flexible when it comes to the stakeholders, and among team members have one chosen method? I got a bit confused. Where do we need to be flexible,
So
and where
what
do
I
we
mean
need to?
flexible in communication is that when you have different stakeholders, like you have, I use high influence stakeholders and I use low influence stakeholders. So you need to be flexible while choosing method of communication with these stakeholders. The way you communicate to a high influence stakeholders, a high influence stakeholder here can become a director, and low influence stakeholder here can become just your team member working under you, and all of you are using Basecamp. Basecamp is a way of communication. So, but some of these stakeholders, you need to just communicate with them via email, just send them reports and expect feedback. You won't expect them to be coming to assign communicate on that deliverable. So you must find a way to understand. That's why you do stakeholder analysis, to understand their peculiarities. And once you understand their peculiarity, that is where the flexibility comes in. You can't use one method for all the stakeholders. That is flexibility here. And when you find a stakeholder, when you choose a particular method for the stakeholder, you stick to that particular method. If a stakeholder is said, I want communication by email, like a director, you cannot send email today and tomorrow you start calling the stakeholder on phone. No. So that is how you find that in this situation, you are structured and you are flexible. Are you getting me?
Yeah, yeah.
Any more?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
No, sir.
Hello, sir.
Okay.
How do we decide if we are going to use Scrum, Agile, or Waterfall in a project?
How to decide which approach to use is number one, organizational approach. If you come to an organization, you understand what the organization is doing. Some organizations are using waterfall. Some organizations are using agile approach. Some organizations are using a combination of both. So that's why you need to have a good knowledge, a blend of agile approach and waterfall approach. If you look at the project I've been managing, I use a blend of agile and waterfall. At some stage, let me show this as an example. We go to, I'll take you to Basecamp and you see it. If you come to Basecamp here now, let's go to our deliverables. Under this initiate stage, we are managing this project using waterfall. This is what we call waterfall approach. Then stage 2, we are still using waterfall. And then stage 3, we navigate to agile approach. Under implementation, you see here, move product backlog to Jira and do Scrum planning. So, and then the second item say implement sprint. Sprint is in so all this is in agile approach. So the answer to your question is that organization decide which method they want to use. It's not your decision as a project manager to decide the approach you are going to use. That's why you need to, I'm exposing you to both agile and waterfall, so that whichever one your organization is using, you still capable. If they say they want waterfall throughout, you know how to use waterfall. They say they want agile, you know how to use agile. If they say they want a combination, you can combine both. When you combine agile and waterfall, we call it Wagile. Although there is no, it's not official. So you go to market and start looking for Wagile. There's nothing like Wagile in the market, but that is what we call it when we combine agile and waterfall together. So today, so many companies is still migrating. Almost all the company is on their migration from waterfall to agile approach. So that's why now it's very good to become, if you want to be a project manager, after this, you make sure you get your Scrum Master certification, because it's you cannot do without agile these days. So the answer is organization decide. And when the organization is using both agile and waterfall, where then you are left to, then the team will decide which one to use, where you take decision, looking at the nature of the project. You look at the nature of the project. Most of the software development is non-negotiable. If you have alternatives where you can use agile and waterfall, you use agile because agile is the original method of managing software development, where we call it managing projects in complex environment. That is waterfall or Scrum. The definition for Scrum, which is a framework in agile, is managing projects in a complex environment. What is complex environment? Complex environment is when you are managing a project and you do not know the outcome, how that project is going to end. Most of the things we are doing is trial and error. And that is how they are getting all the applications like Facebook, Instagram. They don't know how Facebook is going to end. Everything they are doing in Facebook is trial and error. Nobody knows. They will keep on trying something and they work and they add it. And that is how all these softwares we are using, that is how it come about. Any more questions?
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. All right. If we don't have any questions, I'll say thank you and enjoy your weekend, and hopefully we'll meet again on Monday.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.